In an ordinary school day, as students entered the classroom like always, we see a boy being bullied by his classmates. Not a normal bullying, but one so cruel you could never imagine. They did everything to hurt him. Yet he stayed firm, opposite of what they expected. He remained steady and even smiled at them. This drove the kids crazy until they beat him up, but he only answered by removing his clothes in front of them. And here came the shock. His whole body was covered in burn marks and scars of torture. He told them every day his family tortured him, and to know the full story, we must go back to the beginning. It started with a small boy running with a slightly big bag until he bumped into a man wearing a teddy bear costume doing an ad for a circus. The boy asked him to take him to the circus. The man felt that the child was running away from home, and before he could even say a word, the boy left. Leaving him, the man in the bear suit started having a heart attack because he had a rare disease that if he failed to make someone around him laugh, he would die. So he tried everything to make people laugh, but no one laughed at him because he looked stupid, except the boy who bumped into him. And when that happened, 3 people appeared around and kidnapped the boy. The teddy bear saw all this and noticed no one else did, so he ran after the 3 men. They fought, and strangely, when one of them broke his neck, it straightened back, and when another broke his arm, it also fixed itself. So the boy was taken and they escaped. They entered a train and started introducing themselves. The big guy was Narumi, the boy was Masaru, and the people chasing them were from Saiga Company, a tech corporation founded by his father who died in a very strange accident. They said it was a car crash, his body crushed by the tire. But even a child could tell this was no ordinary accident, more like a hidden plot. And in that moment, the boy remembered his grandfather's warning, whispering that every member of the Saiga family carried a doll like this, that the family's wealth was enormous, and if both he and his father were ever gone, Masaru must take the bag and run because only Rojani could protect him. Before he could process it, one of the pursuers punched Narumi hard, but Narumi stood unshaken. The man's face twisted as Narumi was then hurled out of the train. Another enemy stood on the tracks and the train smashed into him, tearing his body apart, but he rose again, controlling not flesh but blood itself. Broken doll parts fell beneath the wheels, making the train screech and derail. Masaru clung to Narumi crying, apologizing, saying he should have been the one to die, not him. But Narumi slapped him awake, shouting not to surrender, grabbing the doll and leaping off the train with it. The train went crashing into the circus and finally halted. Masaru stumbled out only to face a third doll looming before him. He desperately hurled stones, powerless, when suddenly a girl appeared, fierce eyes blazing. She seized the bag, pulled out her own doll Arlequin, and with one devastating strike shattered the enemy doll. Narumi rushed back to check on Masaru, but the girl turned on him, mistaking him for an enemy, her strikes sharp and relentless. Narumi tried to reason with her, saying he was only protecting the boy, but she refused to listen. He snapped back that if she was really protecting him, then where was she when the attackers came moments ago? His words cut her deeply because they were true. She lunged in anger, but Masaru leapt in the way and took the blow. The girl, shaken, grabbed him and dashed to the hospital, while Narumi inspected the wreckage and saw the devastation, the thought chilling him. If people kept dying like this, he would have no one left to laugh at his jokes, and then his cursed heart would kill him. The only one who could laugh was the boy Masaru. Elsewhere, a shadowed man spoke on the phone, coldly reporting the operation failed due to interference. And because the other was controlling blood, the voice told him to calm down since it was only a boy. He agreed but asked permission to unleash his doll. Meanwhile, Masaru lay in the hospital, the girl frantic as no doctor would operate. Until Narumi arrived and took her to one he trusted, the doctor checked Masaru and assured he was fine. Then teasing Narumi with a grin about his taste in women, after the doctor left, the night thickened and a strange monster appeared outside. Narumi and the girl went out, only to find the man from the phone standing there waiting, his eyes gleaming as he declared he was glad, because now he could finally release his doll. Narumi tensed, ready to attack, but the girl raised her hand to stop him. She summoned her doll, Arlequin, and a fierce battle began. The man declared she didn't know how powerful his doll was. He attacked, but she dodged. He struck again, the staff crashing down with violent force, the ground trembling as sparks flew. The girl's fingers flicked and her puppet locked his limbs. He couldn't move at all. Then her puppet grabbed its head. The assassin tried to pull his doll back, but found it frozen. Shocked at the strange power, Bai Yin turned and told the young master to watch carefully because he was about to unleash his big move. And with one devastating strike, he shredded the enemy puppet into scraps. The assassin's face shifted from surprise to a wicked grin because at that moment they revealed they had already taken the boy hostage. Just as the assassin was about to strike, Minghai suddenly appeared and in just a few swift moves took him down, forcing the killers to flee. The boy, shaken, began blaming himself, saying he only brought trouble to everyone. But Minghai comforted him, saying it was because enemies suddenly switched attackers, and then the doctor explained that if no one laughed, Narumi's body would suffer. He would be unable to breathe, his whole nervous system racked in pain, so he desperately tried to make everyone laugh. But who could laugh after such battles? So he rushed to a supermarket acting like like a clown baker trying to amuse people, but everyone only stared at him in fear until Bai Yin arrived and played along in the act, finally making the crowd laugh, and the man at last was relieved. Then Ming Hai asked the boy which relative wanted him dead, but the boy did not know because his mother had only been his father's mistress, and after she died 3 years ago, the lawyer brought him back to the wealthy family. Soon after, his father also died in strange circumstances, and the boy inherited billions in fortune, yet he barely knew his relatives at all. Hearing this, Ming Hai's eyes welled with tears, and later that night when the boy went to the bathroom, the scene from the beginning happened again. The bodyguard wanted to rescue him, but his puppet's case was inside the house, so he fought barehanded but was no match. Ming Hai too was ambushed, and they both watched helplessly as the young master was taken away. At that moment, the leader of the first wave of assassins appeared before them, a man named Z, head of the assassin group, and he explained the ones just now were the abduction team, each faction hired by different people, sworn enemies of each other, and he told Bai Yin that the abduction group was now sending the boy to the wealthy family's villa, a place filled with traps and guarded by heavy soldiers, but despite the danger, Bai Yin and Ming Hai prepared to launch their rescue. This little boy is truly pitiful. Ever since his mother died, his father, whom he had never even met, came to take him in, but soon after the father too died in a strange car accident. Although his father left him billions in fortune, his uncle wanted it all, secretly hiring assassins to kidnap him back and then deceived him to become his adopted son. But the boy refused, so the uncle revealed his cruel nature, scaring the boy until he hid away. And there he discovered his father's diary. Opening it, he was drowned in the gentle words, realizing his father always treated him like a child. The reason he left him the fortune was to make his greedy relatives fight for it, and in doing so, they would surely hire black box assassins, which would lead to infighting and the destruction of their own organization. Suddenly, the devilish uncle found him and beat him harshly. Meanwhile, Bai Yin and the black box assassin team reached an agreement. They would attack the wicked family's villa, and Ming Hai, determined to save the boy, roared in on a motorcycle, striking down guards outside with Chinese martial arts. Bai Yin tried to charge inside but was blocked by an abduction group puppeteer. Then one of the assassin team members said, "Let me do it." He sent his puppet smashing at the wooden gate, but the door was rigged with traps that crushed his puppet and even dragged him inside, killing him instantly. Now it was Bai Yin's turn. He summoned his clown and with one blow destroyed the gate. Inside, a woman waited with bombs. She threw them, but Bai Yin's puppet caught them all. Two fools nearby ducked in fear, but the bombs never went off, leaving the enemies stunned as the clown calmly returned the bombs back, clearing the way for them to continue, and so they pressed on to rescue the boy. Z told Lin Hai that all their puppets had been crafted by the Chai He family, and ironically now the Chai He family had hired them at high price to seize the inheritance. How laughable was that? But as they reached the garden center, Lin Hai suddenly collapsed from illness. At the same time, a trap opened beneath them. Bai Yin almost fell, but Lin Hai grabbed him, and they both tumbled down. Yet survived, unconscious, Bai Yin recalled his tragic childhood, and when he woke, he saw Lin Hai crying painfully. Bai Yin could not comfort him. He could not laugh. So Lin Hai confessed his feelings, but Bai Yin had no reaction because he too was a puppet. Hearing this, Lin Hai's symptoms eased, and they continued forward. On the way, Bai Yin revealed his past, raised only to control puppets, without emotions, without smiles, burdened with the destiny to destroy all dolls. At that time, the boy was being abused by his uncle, when suddenly the uncle got a call from his men, reporting that Bai Yin and Lin Hai had fallen into a trap. But when the uncle checked the cameras, he saw they still lived. The boy, relieved, tried to escape, smashing a window to jump. Declaring he did not want to be controlled by anyone, he would not live as the infant his father once called him. He wanted to live as his true self. The assassin leader looked into the boy's eyes and did not kill him. The boy calmly said, "Assassin uncle, don't kill me. I will hire you for double the price. Don't forget I inherited my father's business fortune." And seeing the determination in the boy's eyes, the assassin agreed. Meanwhile, Bai Yin and the others still thought the boy was locked by his uncle and rushed to save him, only to be caught by a powerful puppeteer and tied up. The uncle thought his nephew was dead, but at that moment the boy returned with the assassin's puppet. The uncle threatened him by using his friends. Seeing Bai Yin and Ming Hai tortured, the boy had no choice but to agree to become his adopted son and hand over the inheritance. But then the assassin said, "Foolish child, you are too naive. He will never release your friends." And sure enough, the uncle smirked, saying he planned to throw them in cages from the tower. Furious, the boy kicked his uncle down, then noticed bombs inside and rushed to save his friends, calmly commanding his puppet to accelerate and leap across to the opposite tower. And it worked. But just then, assassins hired by the uncle attacked. The boy and his friends, unwilling to see each other die, stood together. The assassin lunged at Minghai, but shockingly, he was unharmed, for the qigong he had trained in China protected him. He struck hard, breaking open the cages, and seeing the boy's battered body, Minghai unleashed his rage, using martial arts to smash the enemies like trash. Yet suddenly, another puppet ambushed Bai Yin. Minghai was distracted and also captured. Bai Yin cried for the young master to escape, but remembering Minghai's words, the boy turned back, seized Bai Yin's puppet, and decided he would fight with the doll his grandfather made. The enemies mocked him, saying, "Even geniuses take decades to master such a puppet. What could he do?" But they did not know. He remembered Bai Yin's deadly move, and with one strike he shredded their puppet to pieces. But then a bomb was about to explode. After the blast, Minghai shielded the boy, sparing him, and as they tried to leave, the floor collapsed. The boy fell. Minghai pushed Bai Yin out and then went down to save him. But burning debris rained down, crushing Minghai. He knew he would not escape, yet he still shielded the boy, telling him to live strong, to always smile at life, until the flames consumed him. The next day, the boy awoke, happily calling to Minghai, saying, "We are safe." But when he turned his head, only Minghai's arm remained holding him protectively. The boy broke down in tears. His Minghai brother was gone forever. He remembered their time together, the laughter, the warmth, but now it was all gone. His heart ached. He stripped off his coat, showing scars covering his body. No one knew the suffering he had endured. At school, he was bullied constantly. Shoes stolen, so he walked barefoot. Insults on the blackboard, to which he only smiled and praised the drawing. Nails on his chair stabbing him as he sat, but he bore it. Towels thrown on his head, which he returned with a smile. The bullies, enraged at his lack of resistance, grabbed him by the collar and slammed him down. Even the class monitor tried to help, but the boy said it was fine. Then the bully's punch knocked off his headscarf, revealing a deep scar across his forehead. The class froze in shock. The boy said such scars were nothing, then stripped his shirt, showing a body with no intact skin. Classmates gasped in horror. He told them, "Your bullying means nothing. I have been kidnapped, hunted, abused by my uncle, treated as an infant by my late father. Compared to that, your cruelty is nothing. Yet I will still live strong because I have people who protect me, who encourage me, who comfort me. I will become someone like them. No matter the hardship, I will face life with a smile." Then came a girl from France, always carrying a case. Two classmates tried to trip her but got crushed by the heavy box, demanding her apology. Instead, she knelt deeply and begged forgiveness, shocking them into becoming her fans. Later, a classmate greeted her in Mandarin, but she vanished, sneaking off to check on the boy, catching sight of him being bullied. She wanted to intervene, but he always diffused the moment, hearing him speak. His heart she quietly left, but was scolded by the teacher for skipping class. Still, she shone at school, cooking with perfection, her dishes devoured instantly. In PE class, when others showed talents, she revealed her circus background, casually performing high-level moves that left everyone stunned, flipping through the air, landing perfectly through a basketball hoop. Even I watching outside the screen was in awe, yet despite admiration, she never smiled. The boy, wishing for Bayan Jie to be happy, followed classmates' suggestion and took her to a circus where two lecherous men showed off, and she casually displayed flawless balance that stunned the leader, finishing with a perfect stunt that left everyone speechless. From then, Bai Yin joined this circus, one even royals could not afford, starting a new life.